Some roads aren't just paved over graveyards. Some roads are the graveyard. Some bargains you keep because the thing you bargained with doesn't know how to stop. And some names, God, some names. Once you speak them where the ground is wet and the moon is wrong, they don't just echo. They answer. This is the testimony of Waylon Cross, who thought he could outrun a debt signed in creek mud and wedding lace. He drove 40 miles with a knife in one hand and a boy's soul in the balance. He lost both. Family. This is the Dread Codex. Turn off your headlights. Kill your engine. The road remembers. My name is Waylon Cross. I haven't driven at night in 11 years. I haven't prayed since the night my prayers were answered by something that wore my wife's face and sang her funeral hymn with its teeth the wrong size. This is why. Autumn of 1991. I was a man running toward money and away from a God who'd taken Ruth and left me with a house that smelled like her hair and a bed I couldn't sleep in. The Lord gave. The Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. No, I stopped blessing. I started working. Bought an 86 Peterbilt 379, 22 wheels, half the gauges busted, full financed at 18%, and took any haul that paid. Rice. Timber. Textiles. Didn't ask the shipper. Didn't ask the receiver. Just drove. My partner was a boy named Jonah Pierce. 19. Soft-spoken. Church-raised in that old country way, where you cross yourself passing a steeple, and you don't eat meat on Fridays, even if nobody's watching. He called me Mr. Sam. My first name is Waylon. Ruth's father was Sam. He never corrected me, and neither did I. I should have listened to him more. I should have listened to everyone. The route was simple. Load rice at the Lorimer Cooperative, Low Country, Carolina, where the air tastes like wet hay and something older. Deliver to Pendergast Mills outside Biloxi. Daylight was suicide. Too many trucks. Too many scales. Too many dot men with clipboards and grudges. But night was empty. Night was profit. The other drivers warned me. That road ain't right after sundown, Cross. A man named Hartwell tried that route. He don't drive no more. He don't walk much neither. I thought they were jealous. I thought they were cowards running from shadows. I thought. The first sign came on a Tuesday, 12 miles outside Pea Ridge. midnight. November cold, the kind that doesn't bite. It settles. Waits. Breathes with you. Jonah was asleep in the passenger seat, an old King James open on his lap. Black leather, gilt edges worn to copper. His grandmother's. I didn't know he'd been reading it. I didn't know he'd marked the page. Then the headlights caught him. A man, standing in the center of the road. Arm raised, not waving, commanding. I slowed, squinted through the smear of bugs on the glass. He wasn't wearing a coat. No reflective vest. No hazards flashing. No truck pulled over. Just a man in a dark shirt. Pale face. Mouth moving silently, praying, or maybe reciting, or maybe just practicing the sound of words that had no sound left. Jonah woke with a gasp. Grabbed my arm so hard I felt his nails through the canvas. Don't stop. Please, Mr. Sam. Don't you stop. I didn't stop. I pulled around him. Gave him the shoulder and the ditch and the dust. But as we passed, he turned his head. Slow, oily, deliberate. And I saw his eyes. They were the color of pond water where something's been floating too long. And they were smiling. 3 nights later, we ran that road again. Jonah was sick. Fever. Sweat beading on his upper lip even in the cold, pupils wide as dimes. I told him to stay at the motel. He refused. You ain't facing that road alone, mister. Sam. No, sir. Not after Tuesday. I didn't argue. I was grateful. I was also blind. The load was rice. 40 sacks tarped and roped, shifting in their bindings like sleeping things. Pendergast Mills was waiting. We were already late. We passed the Pea Ridge turnoff at 1:15 a.m. 500 yards later, the truck coughed once. Pulled hard right. Rear driver side tire. Blown. I guided it to the shoulder. Killed the engine. Silence. Then the sound of our own breathing, too loud in the cab. Too wet. Too mortal. Stay here, I said. Jonah shook his head. We do it together. We stepped down into the cold. The gravel crunched like old bones breaking under new weight. And then we heard it. Music. Not radio. Not tape deck. Not the distant bleed of someone's home stereo. Instruments. Drums. A fiddle, thin and reedy and old, playing a tune I almost recognized. Like a hymn. Like a wedding march. But wrong. Slower. Dragged. Like something pulling a memory behind it that didn't want to come. Someone's got a party up ahead, I muttered. Jonah didn't answer. He was staring into the tree line. His lips were moving, not words, just shape. Just habit. Mister. Sam, he whispered. Where's the light? There was none. The music was close now. 30 yards. 20. The drums were so loud I felt them in my sternum, in my teeth, in the fillings Ruth always told me to get fixed. But the road was empty. The trees were empty. Nothing. Then the music passed us. I felt it move between me and the truck. A pressure drop. A cold that wasn't temperature, it was absence. Like someone opened a door in the air and let something through. The fiddle screamed a high note, held it until my ears ached, and then the sound faded. Back the way we came. Back toward Lorimer. Back toward the load of rice we'd picked up from a cooperative that went bankrupt in 1974. Jonah was crying. Not sobbing. Just standing there, tears running down his face, not wiping them. That weren't no party, he said. That was a bride. That was a bride with no groom, and she's been walking so long, mister. Sam. So long, I told him he was feverish. I told him to help me with the tire. But my hands were shaking, and the night had gone very, very still. We changed the tire in silence. I didn't look at the trees. Jonah didn't look at me. 40 minutes later, we were rolling again. The rice was due by dawn. We had to move. 2 miles past the blowout, the second tire blew. Same side. Same axle. Impossible. We checked the treads in Lorimer. We'd run the pressure gauge on both rears. I'd kicked the goddamn tires. I slammed the wheel. Jonah flinched. We got one spare, he said. One. I didn't answer. I was looking in the mirror. The road behind us was dark. But the road ahead, there was a light. A shack. Set back from the shoulder, maybe 50 yards. Roof sagging. Porch leaning. A lantern hung in the window, dim as a dying star. "Water," I said. "We need water." Jonah grabbed my sleeve. "Don't go in there, mister." "Sam, please. Please." "We got water in the cab." "We didn't. I'd finished it an hour ago." Jonah's bottle was empty. I opened the door. The cold hit me like a hand on the chest. "Stay here," I said. He didn't argue this time. The walk to the shack took 20 seconds. It felt like an hour. With every step, my flashlight dimmed. With every step, the lantern in the window dimmed with it, like we were breathing the same air, feeding on the same dying current. By the time I reached the door, the beam was the color of old tea. The lantern was a single ember, pulsing slow. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again, and a voice came, not from behind the door, from inside the wood itself. Old. Male. Dry as dust. Like a man who'd been speaking so long his throat forgot what wetness felt like. "You come to the wrong house, son." I stepped back. The door didn't open, but something pressed against it from within. I heard it breathe, slow, patient, like it had all the time in the ground. "Leave your prayer at the step. Leave your name in the dirt. Go on now." I didn't speak. I couldn't. My flashlight died. The lantern died. And in the absolute dark, I heard him smile. "He's already marked, you know." "The boy in your truck." A pause. A wet, hungry silence. He opened the book. He read the name. Another pause. Longer. "Now he belongs to the bride." I ran. Jonah was not in the truck. I screamed his name. Nothing. Just the wind and the gravel, and my own heart punching my ribs. Then I saw him. He was standing on the opposite side of the road, facing the trees. His back to me. His shoulders shaking. I crossed the asphalt in 6 strides. "Jonah. Jonah, look at me." He didn't turn. But he spoke. His voice was not his own. It was older. Female. Grief-drunk. The sound of someone who'd been crying for decades and forgotten how to stop. "She's lost, not Jonah. Not anymore. She's been walking so long. She just wants to ride with us. She just wants to go home." I grabbed his arm. His sleeve pulled up. God. His hand was black. Not bruised. Not frostbitten. Black. Like he'd held it in a fire no one saw. The skin mottled. Cracking. 3 fingers missing. Fresh wounds. No blood. I staggered back. My spine hit the grill of the Peterbilt. Jonah turned. His eyes were not his eyes. They were pond water green. And they were smiling. "Why didn't you stop?" It wasn't him asking. It was her. She was right there. She waited so long. She raised her arm and you drove right past her. Then he ran. Not toward me. Not toward the truck. Toward the trees. A dirt track I hadn't noticed before, swallowed by shadow, choked with bamboo, leading down toward something that glinted in the dark. Water. I chased him. I called his name until my throat bled and my lungs burned, and my legs forgot how to feel. And then, from behind me, from the truck, I heard him scream, "Mr. Sam, don't follow it." "It ain't me," I spun. Jonah was on the ground, curled beneath the passenger door, clawing at the gravel, sobbing. The real Jonah. The one who'd been left behind. I ran to him. He flinched when I touched him, crawled backward like I was the monster. "Don't let her in," he begged. "She keeps asking. She keeps saying I promised. She keeps saying." He stopped. His eyes went somewhere else. "She keeps saying her daddy's still looking for her." I got him in the cab. I got us moving. 1 tire, 22 wheels, 56 miles of hell road ahead. Jonah didn't speak for the first mile. Then he did. His voice was changing, deepening, cracking like old floorboards under new weight. Bring her around, not Jonah. She's just back there. She walked all the way from the creek, bare feet on the asphalt. You ever done that? Walked on hot road with bare feet? I didn't answer. My daughter, the voice cracked. My sweet girl. You let her walk. You drove right past her. She raised her arm and you drove right past. I looked at him. His face was flushed scarlet, sweat pouring. His lips moved like he was arguing with someone I couldn't see, someone who kept answering. Jonah, I said. Who am I talking to? He turned. His eyes were not green now. They were black. All black. You let her drown. 3 miles later, I saw the bamboo. A single stalk, 12 feet tall, rooted in the shoulder like a grave marker, swaying in no wind. And on top of it, perched impossibly, a woman. She was thin. Too thin. The kind of thin where you start seeing the shape of the skull beneath the skin. Her dress was white once. Now it was the color of creek mud and old grief and everything the water touches that never comes back clean. Her hair hung in ropes. She slid down the stalk like water. Her bare feet touched the asphalt. She faced the truck. Jonah, the thing wearing Jonah, lunged toward the windshield. There. There she is. Open the door. Open it. Open it, trucker. She just wants to ride home. She just wants to sit in the warm. She just wants... I didn't open the door. I grabbed the hunting knife from beneath my seat. Ruth gave me that knife, 6-inch blade, carbon steel, and held it between us. The thing stopped. Stared at the blade. Hissed. Iron, it breathed. You think iron saves you? You think your little knife keeps you mine? It smiled with Jonah's mouth. I don't need to touch you, trucker. The smile widened. I only need you to remember. I drove past the woman. I didn't look in the mirror. I drove 40 miles with a knife in one hand and the wheel in the other. The thing in Jonah wept. It begged. It cursed. It called me by my wife's name, soft, like it knew her, like it had been there, and asked why I didn't save her, why I let the cancer take her, why I let her drown in her own lungs while I sat in the waiting room reading old magazines and praying to a God who wasn't home. It sang the hymn we played at her funeral. But the words were wrong. The Lord is my shepherd, it sang, Jonah's voice cracking on the vowels, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down. In the green pasture where Ruth is waiting, she's waiting, Waylon. She's been waiting so long. She just wants to ride with you again. I drove. She just wants to feel the warm. I drove. She just wants to know why you left her. I drove. Dawn broke over the Mississippi state line. The thing in Jonah fell silent. Jonah slumped against the door, breathing shallow. His hand pale and trembling, all 5 fingers attached, pressed against the glass like a child pressing against a car window, watching the world go by. I pulled into the first truck stop I saw. The owner, a man named Earl, took one look at us and poured black coffee without asking. You come from Pea Ridge Way? I nodded. He set the pot down, wiped his hands on his apron, looked at me like he was measuring my coffin. Thought so. You got the look. He told us the story. 23 years ago, 1968, October, harvest moon, a wedding party was crossing that road at night. The bride's name was Mary Elaine Hartwell, 19 years old. Her father was a deacon at the Pea Ridge Baptist Church. Near the creek, a gang of drifters stopped them, took the gifts, took the money, took the girl. She ran into the woods. They chased her. She drowned in the creek, or they drowned her, or she drowned trying to escape them. No one ever proved which. Her father, Deacon Hartwell, waited 3 days for her body to surface. On the 4th day, he walked into that same creek at dawn. He didn't come out. Some say he's still looking for her, Earl said. Some say she's still looking for a ride home. He looked at Jonah. Some say he stopped. Started again. Some say the deacon made a deal. Before he walked into that water, he made a deal with something that lived there longer than the creek. He said, "Let her ride again. Let someone pick her up. Let someone bring her home." And whatever was in that water said, "I will." But the driver pays the toll. Earl picked up his coffee pot, wiped the same spot on the counter. "You boys best start praying. And not to the Father." Jonah didn't speak for 3 days. He didn't speak for 3 weeks. He didn't speak for 3 months. But he started carrying a hand-forged cross in his pocket. His uncle made it, horseshoes and haywire, and the kind of faith that doesn't need a steeple. He stopped eating meat. He stopped laughing. He woke up screaming 3-4 times a night, and when I asked what he dreamed, he just shook his head and said, "She's still out there. She's not angry. She's just lost, and she remembers my name." 6 months later, I got a call from the Pea Ridge Sheriff's Department. Jonah's truck was parked on the shoulder, near the creek. Engine cold. Keys in the ignition. They found his Bible open on the passenger seat. The Book of Tobit, Chapter 6. In the margin, written in ink that tested as his own blood, *, the prayer is the key. The praise is the lock. I opened the door. I'm sorry, they dragged the creek for 3 days. They never found him. Family, there are roads that remember. There are creeks that keep their dead, patient as a mother holding a photograph. There are prayers that are answered, but not by God. Mary Elaine Hartwell is still waiting for a ride. Her father is still walking the water, looking for his girl, looking for the men who took her, looking for anyone who ever drove past without stopping. And somewhere, in a cab that hasn't moved in 11 years, parked in a barn that's slowly forgetting the shape of sunlight, a man named Waylon Cross still hears the fiddle playing a wedding march that never reached the church. He still sees the woman in white. He still feels her bare feet on the asphalt. He still wonders, what if I had stopped? What if I had opened the door? What if I had just let her ride? This is not a ghost story. This is a ledger. Every road you travel, every shortcut you take, every bargain you make with the night because the money's good and the miles are empty and God isn't answering anyway. Someone else signed that lease before you. Someone else is still paying the interest. So listen closely. Listen. If the rent is too low, walk away. If the road is too empty, turn back. And if a woman in white asks for a ride home on a cold November night, check her feet. Are they wet? Are they bare? Are they touching the ground at all? Some doors, once opened, learn your name forever. Some names are already on the lease. Some prayers are already answered. The envelope just hasn't arrived yet. But when it does, when you see the handwriting and recognize the return address, when you open it and find your own voice speaking back to you, remember Jonah Pierce. Remember Mary Elaine Hartwell. Remember that the road between Lorimer and Biloxi is still waiting for a truck with one spare tire, and a boy who knew too many names for God. And remember, the dead are not patient. They are not kind. They are not waiting for permission. They are just waiting. If you have a story that haunts you, a road you shouldn't have taken, a name you shouldn't have spoken, a ride you shouldn't have offered, send it to contact.thedreadcodex@gmail.com. Your truth becomes our tale. Your silence becomes their permission. Your likes and comments keep these stories alive. Your shares keep the roads empty. Until next time, may your locks hold. May your prayers be your own. May your headlights show you only what's actually there. Good night, family. Good night.